Okay. Thanks everyone for hopping on. Here we got Scott, our new brand president, and we're very excited to have him on here and he can introduce himself, go over, you can kind of go over your background has been, um, what like kind of an evaluation of where you see FiiZ right now, what kind of things we'll be working on in the future, and where you feel like FiiZ is going in the future, and then open it up to some questions at the end. So, or however you want to do this, I'll kind of let you just take charge from here.
Yeah, no problem. So thank you, Justin, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm assuming it's afternoon for everybody. Yeah, so my name is Scott Ball. I'm the new brand president at FiiZ, and I'm really excited to be here. This is literally week 3 for me, so definitely, diving in and kind of doing a review and assessment of everything going on. And to be honest, I'm really, really excited about, what's happening so far. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background, I've been in the restaurant and hospitality industry for 25 plus years. I started my career with a company called Triarch Restaurant Group. They were the parent public company for Arby's, TJ Cinnamons, and they also own the beverage the Snapple Beverage Group. I actually was in a similar role to Justin. I was on a business development franchising side, and actually I worked more on the alternate channel side. So we actually took our brands and we put them into what we called alternate channels, which was hotels and gas and convenience stores, airports, casinos, all those types of venues. So it was very, very successful doing that. And like you guys, I had that entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial bug, and decided I wanted to, have my own business and create my own bureaucracy, as I like to say. So actually had an opportunity, and I got into the Dunkin' Donuts business. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dunkin'. I'm very big out on the East Coast. Um, but was with Dunkin' for over 15 years as a franchisee. I actually owned over 20 locations in the Florida market. That's basically where I've been the last 30 years or so. But in addition to that, I was also on the brand advisory council for the brand. And that was a great opportunity for me because I got to be part of the strategic planning, product development, marketing, all the different aspects that go into, the brand management and growing the brand. So that was a great opportunity. And luckily, I was able to sell that. I sold off my entire network a few years back, did some consulting for a little bit. And then I also got involved in another brand called the Pokey Company. They're actually a sushi bowl concept, pretty big out east, down south. I think they're actually big out west as well in the California market, but helped develop a brand. I actually own some units as well, and recently sold that off as well. And then I had an opportunity at FiiZ. I met some folks over here, and they were looking to to continue to grow their brand. And here I am. Like I said, it's been 3 weeks. I'm really, really excited. We have a great team here. We got a lot of stuff that we're working on. We're really in a growth mode, and that's why I'm talking to you guys. Pretty excited about it. There's clearly an opportunity to grow and expand the business, and I'm excited about that. But we're going to do it right. We're going to do it, strategically, and move that needle. In addition to that, obviously, as a brand, it's always my job and our team's job to, continue to improve operations, but also drive costs down. We're finally out of that pandemic where everything kind of went a little crazy. And so now I've kind of, challenged the team to continue to drive our costs down. We're actually in the process of, we just actually yesterday finalized our deal to renegotiate our pricing with Dr. Pepper. We're working with Pepsi as well on a new national contract. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's opportunity back to our franchisees to, help, drive costs down. And at the same time, it's about growing our sales. So got a really strong marketing team. We're actually putting our marketing counters, we're finalizing them for 2025. And, we're excited about that. So again, we want to grow our sales. We want to, drive our costs down, and we want to continue to grow and expand, the brand either in Utah or outside of Utah. So yeah, that's pretty much my background. I'm originally from New York City. Spent a good part of my life in New York. Went off to college, University of Maryland, down in the DC area. Went back to New York after college, and then eventually, a few years later, found myself in down in Florida, where I met my wife, and I realized soon that she was not a city girl, and that I probably wouldn't be leaving Florida for a while. So, 30 years later, and now I'm in Utah, and I'm pretty excited about it. Great opportunity, great market, and I'm really excited about what's to come for FiiZ. So. At this point, Justin, I don't know if you have anything you want to add, but I definitely open it up for questions. If you guys want to do a quick introduction and tell me a little bit about where you're at and what market you're in, that'd be awesome as well.
I can start if nobody else wants to. But so, hi Scott. Yeah, I'm
Hey,
in
man.
live in the Maryland area right now, just north of Baltimore.
Oh,
So familiar with the
awesome.
University of Maryland. Suffered with their football team over the last 10 years, but
How about the last 30 years? What are you talking about?
yeah, yeah, you're right. But I recently sold a business, and I have a partner that lives in the Denver area, and he and I are evaluating different franchise opportunities. And this one came across our plate. We were looking at Swig, which you guys, of course, are familiar with, and
Sure.
FiiZ, and we're looking at some other ones too. So my question would be, like, what, it sounds like you've had a lot of experience with different franchise wars. What things, like, since we're kind of new to the franchise business, what things should we be looking for? I mean, I'm sure you got the great platform, but in general, what kind of things should we be making our decision on what kind of franchise, and maybe why should it be FiiZ, I guess?
Yeah, great question. Listen, there's a lot of factors to look at. I mean, obviously, I think number one is just cost of entry. You know, and by the way, have they been disclosed, Justin? Like, have they received?
I've received the information, I think.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone on here should be good.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So, like I said, cost of entry to me is really important. And listen, and I've been in your shoes. I was evaluating businesses myself. I think cost of entry is really important. How much is it going to cost to build a store? How much is it going to cost to potentially acquire a location? So I think that's really important. What I really love about FiiZ is, and I've been in the food service a long time, the ease of operation on this is really, really easy. It's nice when you don't have a kitchen per se. Yes, we do have some food items, but we've kind of created these items which take, they're either a thaw and serve product, or we've got like a turbo chef where you could just put in the oven for literally 20, 30 seconds and you've got, a product. So ease of operation, that's a big deal, and managing people, and which I really like about this. This is very different. My Dunkin' Donuts, for example, a lot of them were 24-hour stores. So I was running, 4 shifts a day, running a full kitchen. We also had a commissary where we were actually making the donuts. This is really, really simple from an operation standpoint. So, but back to your question, I mean, cost of entry is very important. And what I like about FiiZ is it's not like, you can get into a Dunkin' Donuts or another food service operation, and it could cost you $700,000 as an entry point. That's before your franchise fees and all that. So with FiiZ, generally speaking, you're probably half of that. And again, we're working on some things to actually continue to drive that cost down. So we're actually looking at potentially doing some modular units, because one of the challenges, and another thing that you really need to look at is, I know you mentioned Baltimore. I don't know, are you looking in the Baltimore market or the Denver market?
well, quite frankly, we're kind of focusing in on the Denver area,
Yeah,
because that's where my partner is.
Okay.
But we would be, I mean, maybe ultimately the Baltimore market as well. We haven't really finalized that, I guess.
And what I would tell you is do your research in all these markets just from a real estate perspective, because, as you guys know, real estate's just getting expensive, and it's getting expensive everywhere. But having said that, there are opportunities in these markets, and Denver is a perfect example. Colorado is actually, that's one of the markets that I've kind of told Justin, hey, we need to penetrate this. This is a great opportunity for FiiZ. It's adjacent to Utah. it just makes sense. People in that area kind of know, what FiiZ is. So I think that's a great opportunity. We actually just recently opened a store in the Colorado Springs area. So we're working through that. But, I think you got to look
How
at,
long ago did that store open?
Justin, what is that? About a year or so?
Yeah, probably. I don't
Yeah.
know the exact date.
Yeah, so that's actually a corporate location. So we're running that right now. It's funny. I just met with our operations manager, who's responsible for that store. So yeah, so that and again, one of the challenges that we have as a brand, and we have to be better at, is that when we go into a market, we kind of went in there to kind of test it out. But at the end of the day, you really need to be in a market where, it's not just one location, because that you really need to have, the ability to have some economies of scale. And from a supply chain, distribution standpoint, it's always better to have, multiple locations. Plus, from a marketing standpoint, you're basically spending the same amount of money if you're marketing for 5 stores as you are for one store. So that's something. So that we're kind of testing Colorado Springs. I think it's a great opportunity out there. I'm excited about the market. So now we're trying to evaluate, where we kind of go, from there. So to your original question, I mean, look, cost of entry is something you need to take a look at. Obviously, you need to like the brand. I think it's important that you like the product. And the ease of operation, I think definitely FiiZ, falls under that category. And whether it's FiiZ or, Subway or whatever it is, real estate is always an important thing. With our business, I will tell you, the majority of our sales actually come through our drive-through. So having a drive-through is really, really important. Having said that, obviously, your real estate costs can be a little higher because you need that extra space, for the drive-through. But so yeah, I hope that answered your question. Or
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, good. Thank you.
And I'll just quickly introduce myself. I'm Liz, Glenn's wife, and I grew up in Utah, so and still have family out there. So I love the I love the business. I'm your perfect customer. So anyway, that's just my background.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, my name is Ian. I'm actually relatively young. I'm 22 years old, believe it or not. So my question is regarding, so I have tried a couple of different soda shops just when I've been to Utah. And I know one of these soda shops being Quench It, what they do is basically they don't have an actual indoor area. They just have a drive-through, and the indoor areas where the people work. Has FiiZ ever do you think they would ever, as a franchise, just have a drive-through to cut down on, the, real estate or costs of I guess, the size of the business and the building, and not having to have as much space. It's really just a drive-through. Has FiiZ ever considered that, or?
Yes, great question, Ian. And that's actually one of my initiatives. So one of the things that I'm charging our team with is to come up with a smaller footprint. It could be a 600 or 700 square foot modular unit with a drive-through. Because it's a lot less space to do that than to take a typical 1,500 or 2,000 square foot, building and sticking somewhere. So yes, absolutely. And again, because of our business and because of the fact that 90% of our people come through our drive-throughs, to me, that is important, and it is something we are absolutely taking a look at.
Okay, great. I do have one more question.
Sure.
And it's regarding, I guess, the marketing side of things. How does FiiZ plan on marketing in an area that's not, soda shops are really not a common thing that you see. In Utah, I mean, you talk to anyone and everyone knows what a soda shop is, even if you don't drink soda, you just know in Utah and maybe in Idaho. But how do you plan on, does FiiZ plan on marketing to people who really just don't know what a soda shop is? I mean, you hear soda shop and you just assume, oh, okay, I guess they sell soda, but
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, listen, another great question. Here's what I'll tell you. When you go into some of these new markets, anywhere we go pretty much outside of Utah, it's really about educating our customer and educating our consumers because a lot of them don't know what it is. So that's our job. And from marketing, we do a lot of PR. We obviously use social media. So it's really, really important, not just us as a franchisor, but you guys as the franchisees in your individual markets. And we'll help you and we'll give you the tools. But going out and educating our consumers is paramount to our success. And just to give you an example, because I spent a lot of time with Dunkin' Donuts, but Dunkin' Donuts was always an East Coast brand. I mean, Glenn, you know this. They're pretty much an Eastern Seaboard brand. And when the brand decided to go out west of the Mississippi, it took them some time because the reality of it was, and actually, I believe they came out to Salt Lake City a few years back, and they opened up about 10 or so locations. And within a few years, they were gone. Like they literally shut them down because it was just a very, very different market, and they really didn't do a good job of, educating, their consumers. The good news is they've actually come back. They're better. And as a matter of fact, I was there the other day, and literally a line out the door, drive through was packed. So they definitely understand the business, better. And as a brand, we have to understand our consumers. We have to understand, what it is they like. Maybe we have to, change up a couple things, create some special flavors specific to that market. For example, with Dunkin', in the South, especially in some more of the Hispanic areas, we would create some different flavor profiles to be able to market and attract those customers. So yeah, it's a great question. We do have plans, like I said, through marketing, whether it's through the corporate marketing. We do have franchisee plans that we actually have a marketing team that will actually work with the franchisees. We have a grand opening plan. That grand opening plans also include a lot of PR. And that's everything from, going to your local TV stations to doing stuff in the community, going to the schools, all things like that. So great question. And yeah, it's a big part of what we do here.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Ian, where are you located, by the way? Where are you?
I'm located in the greater Austin area.
Austin? Okay.
Eden Park. Yeah, there's literally not one soda shop that pops up around here or even in Austin. I think the closest soda shops are in San Antonio.
Okay. Awesome.
My name is Enoch. Been looking at different business opportunities. I mean, imagine like most of the people here, but to be honest, I don't even know what background to share, but I just had a quick question for you. I've done a lot of research and talking to people who are currently franchisees, as well as priors and ones who've signed the franchise agreement and haven't gotten a store yet, all in the financial disclosure documents. And a lot of the people I've spoken with have talked about them being frustrated with the acquiring of FiiZ by a larger place and then they've had like 4 CEOs in the last year and a half. So I guess first off, are you planning on sticking around? And what was the reason for the prior ones to leave?
You know what? Thank you. Great questions. Listen, I can't speak for what's happened in the past, and the people here, I honestly don't even know who they are. Having said that, I came to this brand because I'm pretty excited about it. I think there's a tremendous opportunity here. I love being in the beverage business. Typically the cost structure on beverages is a lot better than, quote unquote, being in the food business. So listen, I understand. I get that. I understand the frustration. I'm here now. I do plan on sticking around for a while. So, and listen, I'm not going to lie. There are things we need to work on as a brand. There are things that we could definitely do better. We've got a really good team, and I've got new people coming on board. So I'm excited about all that. I have experience. I've worked with some major brands in the past. And I really think this brand has the opportunity and the potential to be good. It's already a good brand. It just needs, a little TLC here and there, and really to grow. And I think the growth part is important because as our brand gets bigger, you get more brand equity in the brand, and I think that's really important. I think that's important for you guys because the more stores we put, there's greater economies of scales. We can drive our costs down even more. So there's definitely an opportunity, from that perspective. I mean, we're at 68 locations right now, and if we're at 500 or 1,000, that changes the landscape of what we do and how we purchase and how we do things. So we're excited. But having said that, and I've said this to Justin, who's great, by the way. But when we do our expansion, we're going to do it right. We're not going to just go out and just sign deals. We want to find the right franchisees that, number one, financially qualified, number two, operationally qualify, because we want to do it right. We want you guys to succeed. We're a franchise system, and we're only as good as the people, as our partners, and you guys are our partners. So that's really, really important to me, is making sure it's about quality for me, not necessarily quantity. But yeah, like I said, I can't speak for the past. I'm here. I plan to be here for a while, and I'm excited about it. And look, all brands go through, changes. Listen, at Dunkin' Donuts, when I was there, we had 4 ownership groups in my 15 years. So, it's pretty standard, but I will say this, the company that owns FiiZ, I'm totally excited about, and they definitely, they're excited to grow and move this brand to another level. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Awesome, thank you. I guess I had one other question, if you have a little bit more time.
Absolutely.
Specifically with some of the ideals that are listed as like percentages of revenue, how often are those ideals met?
Well, again, so we're talking about like our food costs and things like that. Is that
the cost of goods sold, the labor, and the food costs, all that stuff.
Here's what I'll tell you. And if you run your stores right, you will hit your COGS, you will hit your numbers, your ideals. Here's the challenge in a franchise system. I can't control what everybody's doing, on their own, kind of a thing. So I'll give you a perfect example. I visited a store last week, and I went in, and let's just say I was not impressed. Operationally, they just were not where I thought they needed to be. I kind of, they're not following our inventory management tools. They're not doing the marketing that I think they should. And by the way, this is actually a good location. And I was trying, and the sales were actually very strong. And I said, guys, you're missing the boat here. Like you probably can be doing 20-25% higher just if you do, X, Y, and Z a little bit better. So one of the challenges from a franchise system is, I've got a whole bunch of different franchisees out there, operating their businesses. What I can tell you is, and this is my background, operations. If you follow the tools and you follow the guidelines, you will generally be successful. And I kind of share that with everybody. We've got the tools for you guys. Inventory management is so important. If you're not counting inventory every day or, every week, and you're just blindly ordering, that's going to be a challenge for you. Your food costs will typically be higher. But I met with a franchisee the other day who's he's actually running even a little bit better than where our corporate locations are, which is amazing. And he's just taken it to a whole nother level. So yeah, it's a great question. I don't have a number as what percentage, but I will tell you overall our costs are running pretty well. I will tell you that I believe in the few weeks that I've been here, we've identified between 6 and 8% on our P&L that we can improve on. And that's both from a corporate standpoint, and that's also from a franchisee standpoint. But just by going out and renegotiating some of our supply chain contracts, and just instituting some tools. One of the things we're doing right now is we're doing a menu optimization plan. So if you guys are familiar with FiiZ, we have a lot of items on our menu. And for the ones that are just not moving anymore, we're going through that exercise right now, and we will be probably removing some items. And you know what? If I'm only selling, 1 a month or 2 a month or 3 a month, you know what, it's not worth carrying that product because carrying that inventory just costs money. So doing some menu optimization. I think we have an opportunity to take some additional price at the menu board. So all these little things, in addition to operations and marketing and so forth, it really does make a big difference on your P&L. And by the way, my goal is to make you guys as profitable as possible, because that, to me, that's the most important thing. Franchisee profitability is the most important thing, for me to get to you guys. Because if you're making money, you're going to continue to grow, you're going to continue to expand, and you're going to, and so forth. So that's a big thing for me.
Hey,
Awesome.
probably just
That
one
answered
more
most of my
question.
questions. I appreciate it.
Hey, probably just one more question. We've got 2 minutes and 27 seconds left before the video cuts off.
Right. Is that Joe with his hand up?
Yeah, you kind of spoke to it in your last comment, but at the beginning you talked about how you're looking at improving costs and everything. So I guess you kind of addressed it a little bit.
Okay.
I'm excited to hear the other options that you have. And just wanted to say that last week, the marketing director was on the call last week and shared a lot of good information on marketing and outside of Utah locations versus Utah locations. So it was pretty helpful.
Great. Yeah, listen, like I said, I'll just say in closing, as a brand, we're always fighting for every penny, but there's opportunities on the supply chain side, which I'm pretty excited about. COVID kind of threw everything for a loop. The pandemic, costs just went through the roof. But now we're just finally starting to stabilize that. And now we have leverage to go back and say, okay, let's go ahead and work with our partners and drive those numbers down. And so we're excited about that. There's definitely opportunity there, and we're going to get there.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott, for doing this, and thanks everyone for hopping on.
Thank you, guys, and I look forward to hopefully meeting all of you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.